Hi, this is Tom Mura with World Class Coaching and another in our series of animated drills. So it's wintertime, and that means futsal season for me and my teams. And my constant frustration with not being able to find a simple and effective way to attack the goal on corner kicks with futsal. And my frustration is that futsal corners just become this compact mess of players that is super difficult to find a way through without having some intricate kind of movement pattern to draw defenders away from space. And it's just not something I want to spend a lot of time on, to be honest with you. We get such a short season for futsal. I don't want to waste an entire practice or 2 or 3 or however many it would take to train a team in order to effectively execute some pattern in order to create space within this mess. And so I've always been trying to find something that's simple and effective. And I think I stumbled on something that another coach had done, and I kind of took and adapted it for my own teams. So the way we do this in where we start depends on the age of the team. With a younger team, I'll have them start a bit closer to goal. With an older team, I'll have them come all the way out to the second penalty mark. Or sometimes, just for simplicity's sake, I'll even tell younger teams to start at the second penalty mark, because it just gives them a landmark on the field that's far enough away from goal. If you start this too close to goal, it's just not effective because there's no space to attack. So, for this explanation, I'll show it from the second penalty mark. Now, the only player in this that matters where they are in terms of what position they play is this second player in line here. This fixo player, that should be the defender or the fixo in futsal. The other players, it doesn't matter where they go. It doesn't matter who takes it. My rule is whoever's closest to the ball picks it up and takes the corner kick. And everybody else lines up. As long as the fixo is in this second spot, then we're in good shape. And you'll see why here in a second. So then we have prescribed movements based on which spot they line up in. The first player in line makes a run to the near post. We'll just get that out of there. I don't like where that is facing, so we'll just get that line out of there real quick. And I should say, while I'm doing this, I'm using the Academy Soccer Coach futsal field, which is great if you're creating futsal sessions. If you're creating something for your futsal team, then it's great to be able to use an actual futsal field to show what it is that you're working on. And so here we've got the first run, and the first player in line runs toward the near post. All right, that's their job, is to make that direct run to the near post. The second player in line makes a run to the back post. Okay, so they make this run coming into the back post. All right, the second player in line, and this is why it's important that it's the fixo, makes this supporting run out into the space. And by doing that, it's really more of a run, to be honest with you. I'm going to change that because it's more of a run kind of toward the ball a little bit. So we'll get that out of there, and we'll replace that with another line. We'll get that there. And you've got a lot of options with these lines. You can bend them and shape them kind of however you want to move them, but you have to make sure you start them far enough away from the person. And so this line here is kind of bent in towards that, and I'm going to drag this extra line out of here. We'll drag that out. Okay. And so now this player is showing into this space. And so what we've done is we've broken up the movements in order to make it difficult for the defenders to follow us and to know exactly where it is that we're going. And so we've got the first player making that hard run to the near post. And that's what I emphasize with the players, is that they need to make sure that that's a hard run to that near post. Then we've got that last player in line making that hard run to the back post. And you can even have them shape this a little bit. You don't have a lot of room to do it. The most important thing is that the run is to that second post and that they're coming from the back. And then this first player, that second player then is popping out into the space. And this will move the defenders as they're doing it in a way that creates openings. And it'll create one opening for one player, depending on how the defenders react. So if we take the lines away and we talk about the defenders, we'll kind of move the players into their positions here where they would end up. And so what inevitably will happen is the first player draws the most attention because they're running to the goal, and they're that first player in line. They're running toward the near post. So usually that player is marked. The third player making the run to the back post, there's so much traffic in between the ball and them that it's kind of difficult to get them the ball. But this player popping out is usually the one that's the most open. When the ball is played out to that player, though, then they have a ton of options from here, because by that time, this player will have turned to watch where the ball is because it was passed back. And this player will have opened up at the back post. And so now this player either has shooting options, they have shooting options that they can take on their own, or they can look at their teammate for passing options to go into different parts of the field. So they can look at a pass. We'll just show this here with a pass or a shot. And so they have an option where they could pass it into there. They could pass it into the back post player occasionally. More often, it seems that the pass will go in here. But because the pass initially came out to this player, we draw defenders out. And when we draw defenders out here, that usually leaves some kind of a lane open through that we can attack. So kind of indirectly what we do is we make the runs in, we pass the ball back, and then that draws the defenders out to pressure that pass back, and we end up with options to penetrate with a pass. So it's a really simple option. We just call it stack. So we're stacking the players, usually at that second penalty mark. First player runs near post, third player runs far post, second player pops out, then the player with the ball makes the decision. So if you have a futsal team, give them a try, give this a try with them, see how it works with them. If you have an indoor team playing arena soccer, this might work equally well because you have a similar setup. I mean, it's a corner, and maybe those movements would relate in the same way, but it's something that is simple that I found works for my teams. So I was sold as soon as we tried it the first couple of times. So leave a comment below if it's something that you try and you find that it works, or maybe you find a variation that you like. I'd love to hear about it.